What's going on, everybody? Kabao here. I'm here to show you a rogue build that I've been getting a lot of questions about on stream. A lot of you know me from just doing shorts, but I decided I'm going to start making some longer videos to kind of showcase how I do what I do in some of the videos that I post. A lot of my videos are on TikTok at the moment, but I'll be posting more on YouTube. If you can, give this video a like and subscribe, and I'd appreciate it very much as it helps my channel grow, as I am a new streamer. But anyway, here we go. So first things first, we want to get into it. Sorry, we'll go right to what we're going to start with, which is our combo points. We are a combo points build, and basically that means any basic attack we do is generating those combo points. So it's going to affect our core skills, and those core skills are going to get benefits based off the amount of combo points you have. But we'll get into that as we go through the abilities. So I'm only really going to go over the main skill tree. I'm still working on my Paragon board as I'm not very high level. I'm only 60. So this is basically a 1 to 60 guide. We'll probably call it that as the title. But anyway, to start, we're going to just assume that most of you are level 50 at least, or at least can get these many points. I won't factor in every single point when it comes to all your renown and stuff, because I, like many of you, are a casual player. So I don't really have all of my skill points yet, but I'm getting there. But anyway, we'll get right into it. So first things first, we're going to take puncture into enhanced puncture into fundamental puncture. The reason we take fundamental puncture, of course, is so we can get those vulnerable procs on enemies. So I do know there is an argument for forceful arrow, but forceful arrow is not as fast. I think most builds are using puncture right now, considering these two skills in a range build, they're just so slow. You'd have to change up what aspects you're probably using in order to, you know, compensate for the slow amount of attack speed you get on these two. So because we're trying to build combo points as fast as you can, and puncture is doing that for us. So you only need 1 point in there because that's not our main source of damage. And now here is where I'm kind of throwing you for a loop. So we're using 2 separate core skills. The reason for this is if you go straight penetrating shot is usually really good at AoE, whereas it lacks in the single target aspect, right? And then rapid fire, of course, is really good at single target, but again, it lacks in AoE. So why not use both? So both of them are very helpful as far as this build, and I'll showcase this at the end as to how good it really does. We're putting 5 points into rapid fire. We're going to enhance rapid fire into improve rapid fire. The reason for this is because rapid fire does take a lot of energy, but now every single cast of rapid fire is going to give us 15 back, along with another skill I'll show you guys as one of the nodes in the later in the tree that's going to allow us to increase the amount of energy we're getting in return. But anyway, next we're going to go with penetrating shot into enhanced penetrating shot into advanced penetrating shot. Advanced penetrating shot is used because that knockdown and full energy when all these elites are around you is huge for survivability. It's very helpful when you're surrounded. It's saved me a few different times. You could go here if you really want to, but I mean, you're already getting a guaranteed crit chance from other things, so we don't need to really do that. Anyway, next thing we're going to do here, we're going to go with dash. Dash is strictly used for mobility. We're not using this for damage or anything like that. We don't need any points in it or anything like that. I use it strictly to get in and out of places. I am not using it for any kind of damage. And that's pretty much it. And of course, we're going with weapon mastery, as most builds are going to benefit from weapon mastery no matter what you do. I do run a crossbow as well because of that crit strike damage, and we will be getting a lot of guaranteed crits, so this will help us out a lot. All right, next thing we're going to do is our concealment. Concealment also makes us unstoppable. This is a big one for a lot of you that don't want to use concealment. I understand, but concealment is big. You need some kind of skill that's going to allow you to become unstoppable, because unstoppable is basically a CC break, and when you get into the higher world tiers and higher levels in general, when you're doing these nightmare dungeons, things like that, you're going to need some sort of CC break, and that's what unstoppable is going to do for you. You need to have it. Just have it. But the nice thing about this is once we go into enhanced stealth, of course we're getting energy back every time we use it. That's great, but you get a guaranteed critical strike when you break stealth. So usually what we do on this build is I will pop the imbuement, which I'm going to get into next. I'll first make them vulnerable prior to actually with our puncture here. oh Jesus, sorry, prior to our puncture. I'm sorry, prior to any of our core skills, that is. And we will pop concealment after there. We have 3 combo points. We have our imbuement up, and then we pop concealment. The nice thing about concealment is countering stealth. Countering stealth is going to make it so it's a guaranteed crit strike. So if you pop all those that I just mentioned, and you use rapid fire, you're gonna do a crap ton of damage, and you're just gonna probably melt a lot of these bosses. That's usually what happens for me anyway. Now, this might not be on my bar, but we are using it. The reason we're going to use it, I'll go into it later, as far as why we're taking points into it, because although it's not on our bar, we're still getting a benefit from a specific aspect on our armor. I don't quite have it yet, but I will explain it to you, and I'll show it to you when I can. And of course, we're going to put 3 points in an exploit, 3 points in a melee, because every rogue build needs to have this as well. You get extra damage when they're healthy. Healthy is just 80% of their life, and also you get more damage when they're at less than 35%, so you might as well take this skill. And then malice, of course, we're doing vulnerable damage. We're making enemies vulnerable, so we need the increased damage. Now, here's one of the bread and butter pieces of our build as well. Now, you might see 2 points in all of these. These are just from my skills on my equipment, so don't worry about that. But poison imbuement, we're going to take 5 points in, and then we're going to go enhanced poison imbuement, and we're going to go blended poison imbuement. Now, every time we crit, our poison imbued skills deal 75% increased damage. Now, the nice thing about that is we have concealment, and then we're going to pop all those things again along with our imbuement, and then that first hit from that first shot of rapid fire, even though with our combo points, which I failed to mention, even though with our combo points, when we have 3 points, we are going to be getting 8 arrows. That first arrow, if it crits, you're going to get extra damage on your poison, and those 7 other shots are going to increase the amount of damage they're doing. Now, we also combine that with deadly venom because we want increased poison damage, but we also want to take less damage. So anybody we poison, we're also taking less damage from. We also use that on our penetrating shot for AoEs as well. And of course, poison imbuement, or precision imbuement, I'm sorry, gives us that increased crit chance whenever we imbue, and we're constantly imbuing. So anyway, now we don't take an ultimate skill here. We're just taking a few nodes that are going to benefit us. Once we have more of the skill points from the renown, we'll probably max this out just because our lucky hit, having more lucky hit is going to benefit us on some of our items. So I'll go over that later. And then adrenaline rush and haste are usually very good for most builds. Just having more mobility, having more energy regeneration, everything is going to be helping us. And we're constantly mobile, so this is going to be increasing the amount of energy we get back. So we're not too worried. Some people like to run probably 3 in there, but it's fine. Now we take precision as our key passive. Critical strikes with marksman skills grant you precision, so our rapid fire usually ramps us up pretty quickly, and once you've reached that maximum, you do a bunch of damage. I don't have the unique yet that we need in order to actually make it a little stronger, but I will also be putting a link in the description of all of this, plus the unique I'm talking about, along with a few different things that I don't have yet for this build that are going to make this a little more viable. So, but that's the build. As far as the skill tree, it's nothing too crazy. But I can give you a little showcase as well in a second here, but let's just go over some of the, don't worry about my inventory, it's a mess, I'm sorry. It's like coming to somebody's house and their house is a mess. Anyway, but we're gonna go over some of the main aspects that we use for this build. Now, of course, no penetrating shot build is going to not have this. It's amazing. So this is just the base roll for me. I haven't been looking, I haven't been trying to get any high level rolls because we're in tier 3 still. I'm just kind of waiting until I'm in tier 4 in order to just really min-max my gear. But for now, you just get the aspect. Just get the aspect and don't worry about it. So the nice thing about this amulet and what I like is the fact that I'm getting the 2 ranks to all imbuement skills plus the range damage, and that's really nice. But the main thing you really need is the penetrating shot aspect, the trick shot aspect. It's going to make it so whenever you shoot your penetrating shot, it will spread into every single enemy it passes through. It'll make extra arrows shoot out to the side, and it's really nice. Next thing we're going to take here is the expectant. So anytime you're using your basic skill, you get up to 30%. So every time you hit once, you can actually see the buff on me right now if you look down there about my experience bar. But anyway, what it does is it gives you that 30% extra damage on your next core skill. So usually if I'm fighting a boss, that's when I really take advantage of it, and I'll hit five different times usually to get that 30%. They'll be vulnerable. I'll pop my concealment, I'll pop my imbuement, and then I'll rapid fire. And it usually, if it's a nightmare dungeon, I can usually do about half of their health. It depends on all the modifiers, things like that, but that's why we have that one. Next here, Edgemaster is pretty much in every rogue build that there is right now. Edgemaster is pretty cute. I read something about it being disabled, but right now it seems to be working fine for me. So skills deal up to 10 to 20% increased damage based on your available primary resource. So typically when you're going into a fight or a boss fight, you have full primary resource, and so this is going to benefit you a lot. Don't worry about this. This is just a whatever. I'm only taking this for the core damage, the crit strike damage, and the all stats on there. We're not ever standing still, so don't worry about that. There's a specific unique I'm trying to find in order to replace that with, but I don't have it quite yet. What we do want though is this imprint. It's the rapid aspect, and it allows our basic skills to hit faster, and of course we want to get combo points as fast as we can, so that's why we run this. Now that we're going to this weapon, now this is kind of a thing I got from, I believe his name is Asmodeus. He was running a similar build to this one, and he does a crap ton of AoE damage, and it helps a lot as far as for your single target as well. But I took the Arrow Storm and put it on here because the Arrow Storm, it seems to proc way more than the 10% chance that I have on there, but it actually helps out quite a bit, because when you have multiple Arrow Storms, it actually just wrecks through a whole bunch of mobs especially when you're poisoning them and you want them to die a little faster. That'll help too. So I definitely recommend putting this on your bow, because you're going to get that 100% increase, or 100% effect increase for having it on your bow. Next down here was the boots. The boots, just wind strikers are pretty good in general, so anytime you crit, you get movement speed, and we crit all the time, and that'll allow us to also be getting out and getting away from things. Now, this isn't the aspect I want on my pants. I'm using it for now just for some defenses, but I'm trying to find something called Umbrus. What Umbrus does is it allows you to gain Dark Shroud shadows, and that's why we took that point in our skill tree. It allows us to gain Dark Shroud shadows, and without actually having to have it on our bar, but we'll get the benefit of the enhanced version of it. Even though we don't have it on our bar, we're not casting it ourselves. So this is the placeholder, and if you want to take those points out and put them in something else, you want to put them in, I don't know, you want to make your concealment stronger, you want to put them in a different passive, something like that, you be my guest, because I understand I don't have it, but I like to prepare, and that's why I have it in there already. So if you want to try and go ahead and do that, you can. Next, this is important, is Vengeful. So you put Vengeful on our gloves. Now, gloves are a very important DPS player's best friend in the first place. So the reason being is I found these perfect gloves. You can get them much higher in World Tier 4, but I'll go over that. So if you notice, I have 2 ranks in Rapid Fire and I have 2 ranks in Penetrating Shot. That's why they were both level 7. Getting more ranks in your core skills is going to drastically increase your DPS. So I definitely recommend trying your best to find something with both of them on there in order to really get a boost in your DPS. But also, our Vengeful is anytime you make a enemy vulnerable, they're going to grant you more crit chance, and that's why we have this. And our build is all about crits, so the more crit, the better. But the main thing about these gloves is try to find something that's going to add ranks to your Rapid Fire and your Penetrating Shot. All right. Next we have our Might. Might is just going to give us flat damage reduction whenever we're using skills, and we're always using skills, so we're always getting damage reduction, so nothing too crazy there. I need to find all stats on a piece of armor too. I just like this for all the resistance I get and a little bit of extra damage. And then finally we have our helmet. Our helmet is the protector, and whenever you damage the link, you get a barrier. I have the base one because I haven't found one in general. I need to find one and just put it on and replace that one. But like the difference between 983 and 1965 is huge. Like I had it on another character, but this is kind of crappy right now. So, but anyway, The barrier has saved my life a bunch of times. So I definitely recommend that. But that is the build. So I'll kind of go over how I run it. We'll just go into whatever dungeon is close by real quick so I can show you what to do. Or I'll just go out into the field real quick and I'll show you what I do. So of course for AoE packs, all you're going to be doing is penetrating shot, but you still want to set up. I don't know what he was doing anyway. Alright, so here we're always going 1, 2, 3. If you notice, we gain precision, we got our combo points. I'll press imbuement and I'll just shoot. It'd be nice if we can get a proc of our... Oh, hello, hold on. Something else has happened. This also gives us movement speed. So you see the arrows? That rain of arrows gives us quite a bit of damage as well. Now, even though we are all about the AoEs, we do quite a bit of damage as far as our single target. Our single target is the most important thing that I'd like to showcase. I really just want to find an elite for you so I can show you how good it is. And hopefully I do it justice, because this build has been very insane for me as far as any other range build that I put together. So we're gonna come over here. We'll just go find us an elite. We'll skip all these packs so I can show you how well it does. Oh no, you need to see that. You need to see what we're doing. Let's find us an elite so I can show you just how fast we can melt. We'll just do it on this corpse gate, that's fine. So we got the 30 stacks, stealth, boom, and it's gone. So you can typically do that to bosses as well. And I'm gonna just save this. So see all the arrow rains that we get? That's always great too. But I'm rambling a little bit, but I just want to show you how strong this build can be. And there we have it. So it's pretty basic. It's nothing too crazy. If really just here, if anybody's looking for a range build to try to mess with or try to see if they'd like to try, this is what's been working for me. Now feel free to do whatever you'd like with the build. This is just my recommendation. Take any build that I do or anybody does with a grain of salt, just because you don't want to completely copy. You kind of want to, do your own thing. But anyway, I'm going on too far now. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Again, if you can give me a like and subscribe, I'd really appreciate it. That would help me out quite a bit. And I will leave a link to this build in the description below. And I will also make sure to put in exactly how I plan on running it. I probably won't do the Paragon board just yet because I'm still figuring that out, but I'll at least give you guys something to start with. So thank you again for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.